Good day, everyone. Meteorologist Mark Molnar here. How is everybody's day doing? Well, we have big changes here in the tropics. What does that mean ultimately for our potential Caribbean system? Well, National Hurricane Center has us at 40% chance here in the Caribbean. And look at this, into the Central Atlantic, 50% chance through day 5. But our big focus is this system initially into the Eastern Caribbean. What is going on? Are we going to have this big high-pressure system to the north, basically a mega block high? What does this mean for Jamaica, the Caribbean island chains, and eventually what could be Central America? Does this storm have eyes on you? Well, we're going to get into all the details and more in this edition of Hurricane Eastern and Weather Northeastern. All right, so starting off here with the GFS, we'll take a look at the Euro momentarily, see if it's actually showing up on the Euro. And I have a hint, it kind of is. So let's take a look here. This is through Friday at 2 p.m. Take a look at this. Most of North America looks pretty quiet up there. There's our system that could develop into something near Bermuda here. You can see that big old classic comma shape, but at this time, it doesn't really look like it's going to be any threat to land. But here is our next system. Take a look at this. This is looking pretty formidable here. It almost looks like a comma shaped as well. But as we head in time, what is going to happen with these systems? Well, there is going to be high pressure developing eventually to the north of this system. You see our system up here in the Central Atlantic kind of cutting off and essentially falling apart. But what's going on here across the Caribbean? This is where our focus is going to be lying here. And look at this. This is Sunday at 5 p.m., October 30th. It's really getting its act together here. By this point, I think it will be at least a tropical storm. A lot of convection here on the northeast side. You see here in Puerto Rico, we could be getting some showers and thunderstorm activity. Take a look at this. So we'll follow this storm as we go along this track. Let's take a look. I think it will become a hurricane at some point here early next week. You can see still some feeder bands feeding into Puerto Rico. This is Tuesday morning at 2 a.m. And look at this. We start to get into some heavier downpours here right around the Dominican Republic, the South Shores here. And here is Kingston, Jamaica over here. Take a look at this as we continue to head towards Tuesday, 11 p.m., and then eventually Wednesday. This is where it starts to take on some higher cloud tops here. We could be looking at the potential for this system becoming a hurricane. What does this mean for the island of Jamaica? Well, at this time, and I will be showing you this on the Euro as well, because it's getting pretty interesting, this overall pattern. We have some areas of high pressure really starting to develop north of this system, and it's going to start feeding this system more towards the southwest here in time. So as we go, take a look at this. Eventually, this is what I was kind of figuring might end up happening with these high pressure systems. See how the center of circulation is well south of what it was the other day and even previous model runs on the GFS. Here's Jamaica. Here is essentially our hurricane. It's actually pretty far to the south now. So what does this mean for Central America? Well, there will be high pressure building its way westward into the Gulf of Mexico, and I'll show you that in the upper air charts here momentarily. That is going to keep it away from the Gulf, it looks like, as well. So we're starting to get a better idea of, look at that, really blows up around Thursday at 8 a.m. This is getting pretty far out, but still it's about a week out, so we're closing in on that window. Now look at here, we have got Nicaragua, we got these countries down here that could be the target of this system. Take a look at that. So as we continue in time here, look at this. Yeah, this really starts to form. Let me zoom over top of it here. There's that classic eye and bearing down literally on Nicaragua here. This is Friday, November 4th. So what does this mean? Essentially, this system's pushing towards the west-southwest, really starts to develop into probably a major hurricane at this point. And look how it's bearing down here. It looks like the coastline of Nicaragua really taking out its, wow. And it starts to slow down. This is Saturday, November 5th. Look at that. And it moves into a heavy rain producer. Now, one thing to note, this has been pretty popular this season. As it moves southwest like this, will it have a chance to develop into the Eastern Pacific? That remains to be seen. But that is a potential that may just be on the table as we go forward. All right, so take a look at the Euro here. Let's see if it's showing up, the system on the Euro. Well, the one up in the central part of the Atlantic this is Saturday morning. You can see there's our system there in the southeast, and there is our disturbance that could become our hurricane. So it's finally really starting to show up on the Euro. It is confirmation here. Yes, there it is. It's showing up on the Euro. And as we go in time, The Euro is closing off the low, so we have confirmation now. The Euro is further south. This happens a lot. And a lot of times, the GFS finally comes on board with the Euro. But look at this. You see, then it kind of bumps a little bit further to the north in response to this high pressure further to the north over the southeastern part of the United States. So the flow is kind of like this. So it might bring up and get some heavy rains into Jamaica here. But take a look at this as we go in time. See how the movement, initially it's further south than the GFS. Then it comes a little bit further north. So the Euro's kind of indicating that Jamaica still might be in play here. So if you're in Jamaica, please stay tuned. This is the Tuesday through Wednesday, Thursday time frame. So the Euro is a little bit slower than the GFS as well. But here it is. It's just north of the Nicaraguan coastline here. And then it kind of heads southwest at the last minute into Nicaragua. So very, very, very interesting. And there's that trough up here in the southeast. It's just a little bit too late to pick this system up here into the Gulf of Mexico. Now, one thing that I didn't show you here in the frames behind it, there's our hurricane. This is Friday, November 4th, but I wanted to back this up. Take a look. The intertropical convergence zone is really becoming alive behind our hurricane. Look at this. We have another area of concern. It's a big old broad area here, and take a look at this as we continue in time. This could be developing into something. It kind of reorganizes up here to the northeast, as it looks like by this time we're starting to get a little bit troughiness, so it may eventually be pushed off to the northeast, but definitely want to watch this. This is Monday, November 7th here, so take a look at that. There's our last frame. That's almost resembling kind of a hurricane, so to speak, here. And then we have another tropical wave behind it, and then another one here moving just south of Jamaica. So definitely a lot to watch in the tropics here. All right, so we're taking a look at the upper air pattern here. Take a look at this. So essentially, this is the Euro. We go into the rest of the week here. We have high pressure really building in control here. And this is some weakness here around the Caribbean islands. That's that trough of low pressure. Now, this is where we're going to see our potential development. Let's see if it's finally showing up here on the Euro upper air or not. Doesn't really look like it is, but there is that trough of low pressure there. You can see it in the upper levels here. High pressure really building to the north here. So this high is really strong. Euro is kind of indicating this trough is kind of weaker, kind of like the GFS is. It's not like strong like this trough is. This is a cutoff low, by the way. But as we continue throughout the weekend, you can see we have a trough developing here across the south central part of the United States. Now, this is the Euro. This isn't the GFS. So the Euro is indicating something developing here by this point. You can see it, the weaker heights. Will that trough be digging enough here into the Gulf of Mexico for this to actually start picking this up further north towards the Gulf of Mexico? It remains to be seen here, but there is that trough kicking in. Ridging, this is through Tuesday, November 1st. You can see ridging pushing westward here, and we'll continue to watch this system, but that is one thing I'm looking for, this high pressure really building to the north of the system, helping potentially to push it more south and west here. That's essentially what we're seeing. And you can see that trough across the south central part of the United States really lifting out by then, not becoming too bad of a problem. But here's what I wanted to show you as we head deeper into November. This is going to be the theme. We have a big trough developing here that could push some wintry conditions pretty far south and east here into eastern North America. All right, so let's take a look at the GFS here. It is a similar picture, at least through the last part of this week into the weekend. You can see Saturday, October 29th here. We're getting ahead of ourselves, but there's that cutoff low. Here's that weakness that we're looking at, and we will start to pop it up here onto the GFS. Now, there's that trough digging across the south central part of North America. Here is our system showing up really prevalently here, more so on the GFS than the Euro. And look at that. As we head towards Tuesday, November 1st, that is essentially what I'm looking at. This super high developing, combining forces with this super high to the north, and that should help steer this system further south and west. So Central America has been the target so far this season, and I expect that to continue. Look at this. Yeah, there it is. It's essentially pushing the system more south and west as we go further in time here. All right, so taking a look at the tropics here into the Western Pacific and Asian Pacific here. Take a look at this. So this is that area last video I was showing you that is east of the Philippines. So let's put this into motion and see what happens with the system. It's not on an area of interest, so to speak, just yet. But it definitely will be, I think, becoming something here in the coming days. And look at this. Yeah, this starts to become quite an area of concern. This is taking us towards Friday at 8 a.m. Take a look at that. So we start to get into what could be a typhoon. And my concern is here, look at this. Yeah, it's heading towards the northern part of the Philippines. Manila area on northward. Definitely want to stay tuned. If you're in these areas, this is by Saturday, October 29th. We could be looking at a problem here. So it's this area initially of concern, and it will be heading towards the west here. Is there anything else that's going on here that's notable? Yeah, there's a few other areas. There's an area behind that main system here, and a trough of low pressure here off of Japan. But this is what we're going to be watching here into the Western Pacific. I'm very concerned about this typhoon. And watch as we put this into motion. This is crucial, because if this trough of low pressure up to the north can pick this system up and move it off to the northeast, that would be great. But look how close it's getting here to the coastline of the Philippines, the northern Philippines to be specific. And look at this. By Saturday, 11 p.m., any little wobble to the west, look at this. I mean, this is crucial, because here's the inner core of the system just sitting right off the coast. Feeder bands feeding into the northern part. My concern is there's going to be a lot of flooding, and look how it really starts to make landfall by Sunday at 11 a.m. This system could be a problem, a big problem here in the northern Philippines as it eventually makes landfall. So it doesn't look like at this time that trough is far enough south and strong enough to pick this system up here into the westerlies. But look at this. We have another system behind that, and another system I think will be dealing with the tropics for quite some time, deep into December out here into the Western Pacific. The tropics don't seem to sleep too much out here. And look at this. It tries to reorganize into Monday at 5 a.m. We're still dealing with it here. My concern is there's going to be not only tremendous wind and surge here in the north, especially north of Manila here, but we're going to have tremendous rainfall as well. The rainfall rates are going to be pretty well staggering coming out of this system, which is not very good news. And look how it just kind of hangs around. We can't get rid of it for most of next week until it heads up towards Taiwan. Look at this. It becomes Taiwan's problem by next Wednesday, and then it just sits over the island and dumps heavy rain. Finally getting a break here in the Philippines come Thursday, November 3rd, and we finally, look at that. Yeah, that's some good news. So we have to get through the next 5 or 6 days in the northern Philippines here for you. All right, so let me show you the Western Pacific here on the Euro. This Invest 93W, that is the system. That's the concern here. So take a look as we go in time. What does the Euro do with this system? Unfortunately, as you can see here, it's kind of hard to see because it's such a big map, but here is the northern Philippines, central Philippines. Look how this system's just bombing. This is by Friday, so this is literally only a couple days away, and look how it makes landfall. This is in response to these stronger high pressures to the north, and then you got this trough, but the trough is just positioned a little bit too far to the north. It's not enough to pick this system up initially, and then it brings it up more north or westerly here, and then eventually around the periphery of this high pressure system, and then this trough. So you have the high to the northeast like this, and then you get a trough of low pressure. This system kind of angling and arcing about it here and following the tail end of this trough, so to speak. And look how it kind of, Euro's kind of curiously taking it still westward at this point. Steering currents, I think, by this point, as that trough pulls away to the northeast and high pressure builds into the west, kind of pushing it a little bit more towards the west like this, a more continental high, so to speak. But if you're in the northern Philippines, I'm deeply concerned for you here. So here we go with the HRRR model, essentially your future radar. So look at this. Yeah, this is that departing whatever's left of Invest 94L here. Most of the precipitation following in eastern Maine this evening into the overnight hours and clearing, hopefully, for your Thursday, although you will have to worry about some of these showers pinwheeling behind it. There is a little bit of a lake response here, but let's kick this into motion. Most of the rest of the eastern part of the country is not looking too bad at the moment, so let's get into it here. We'll continue to progress, and look at that. We head towards 3 a.m., 5 a.m., 8 a.m. on Thursday morning. Look at this. Ooh, it clears out nicely. It will be cooler, but seasonably cool. And we look at the rest of the country. Yep, this is where we'll start to see the return flow out of, get some tropical moisture. Some stronger thunderstorms will be the potential here as we kick into your early Friday morning at 5 a.m. here. And look at this. Some of these could be flooding problems here, too. Look at 11 a.m., 12 p.m., and look at that. There's the last frame. Wow. We're looking at quite a mess here across Texas, although I do have to say, across this region, you definitely do need the rain. You don't need the severe weather, but yeah, some of these could be a little on the strong side here, so you definitely want to watch out for that. And look at this. As we continue on with the NAM 3 kilometer here, picking up where our HRRR future radar essentially left off here. Yeah, look at this. This is a big old mess across East Texas. This is Friday afternoon, 3 p.m., 4 p.m., 5 p.m. Look at these heavier gully washers. It's starting to turn more into a heavy rain flooding event for this area. And as you can see, look at that. Yeah, they start to wash out, so they lose a little bit of their punch as they head to the east. But you still have kind of a squall line here, if you can follow this, a very slow-moving squall line heading towards the Houston, Texas area. This is early Saturday morning at 2 a.m. But look at that. The rest of the country here in the east here, look at this. This is really, really nice and dry. All right, so we'll take a look here. We got the total precipitation amounts here across North America. So it's taking us through the weekend here. Yeah, let's back that up. Increase. So in the Northeast, most of your rain has already fallen, but look at this. We head through Monday of next week, October 31st, taking us to Halloween. The lion's share of the rain is going to fall here into parts of the southern plains, the southeast. Yeah, we will have some stronger to severe thunderstorms, unfortunately. And up here in the Pacific Northwest, as we get that trough kicking in, we'll get those coastal systems moving in. Now, let's take a look briefly here across the Northeast. We'll see exactly what's going on here with rainfall totals. And look at that. So we put this into motion. Yeah, we have a frontal boundary. We also have the whatever's left of Invest 94L up here. That's going to help produce some rainfall overnight, Wednesday night into Thursday morning. But as you see, we head into the weekend. Let's just take us through Sunday there. See, this is all falling pretty much before Thursday afternoon. So this is really nice. It's going to be a very nice weekend to be had here. And take a look, viewers, send in photos and videos. Jim here from Fisher's Island, off of Fisher's Island, New York here, October 25th. A foggy morning to be had here. Look at that. Just a nice capture. You can see how low the visibility is. You can't see too far out there into the water there, but nice captures there, Jim. Looks like a nice sight to behold and looks peaceful, actually. And here we go, John from Huddersfield Football Stadium, UK. Fall foliage, October 25th. Take a look at this. Yeah, there is some beautiful fall foliage. Look at those yellows there in the background. Nice captures there, John. And look at that. Look at that. In the parking lot out there, you have some nice reds and oranges there. Nice captures. Fall foliage springing there quite nicely. And there you go. There is a nice close-up of some red trees. Fall foliage in full swing. Nice captures there, John. Let me take you through November. Let's take a look here. So the CFS model, medium range climate model, gives us a really good idea of the pattern. So we're kicking into November here now. It starts off very like Indian type summer here across the Northeast and the East Coast. But look at this. As we head towards, we're getting kind of wow. Yeah. So this is what's going on. This is kind of changed a little bit. Massive trough out west, ridge, massive. This is crazy. Look at this. So is this pattern going to change? It's going to try to, but look at that. It has very little luck. This is Wednesday, November 23rd. This is towards Thanksgiving. It's right around the week of Thanksgiving. We start to get rid of those ridges. We're still got a ridge here across the southeast, but look at this. We're going to start to see a more zonal pattern, fast-moving flow here, and this is where we could get some small wintry systems crop up. There's your month ahead. All right, so let's get into temperatures here. Let's just go with the Northeast here. This is a good old Northeast. Not too bad. You know what? This is more average for this time of year. We're getting into the 50s for highs here in upstate New York. 60s here closer to the coastline, so not too bad. You know, let's get out there and enjoy the fall foliage. If you're past peak, though, mostly north of this line, you're starting to really get past peak. But look at this, 50s for your TGIF. That's pretty nice here across the Northeast. And as we head in time, we're going to see this warmer air. Look at this, 60s and 70s, near 70 degrees pushed to the Northeast, so you'll be getting highs in the 60s. Most area approaching 60 here on your Saturday into Sunday. we warm it up just a few more degrees. 62 is a popular number here across the Northeast. Pick out your favorite spot and go with it. Look at that. As we cruise towards Monday here, Halloween. Wow, it's going to be nice. This is going to be one of the warmer Halloweens. Most of the Halloweens you remember cold and snowy, but this one will be one to remember here as we breaking 60 and most of these areas. And as we head towards Tuesday here, yep, we have Tuesday. Look at this. We're still holding on. Every place except for Maine here is into the 60s. Extended outlook for my hometown viewers, Binghamton to Scranton's upper Susquehanna River Valley. Take a look at this. Thursday through Monday here. Take a look. We have windy conditions behind that cold front. Temperatures only making it up into the 50s, but you know what? That's average for this time of year. Into Friday and Saturday and Sunday, it will be much better. Sunny skies. We won't have some rain until Monday. We have a frontal boundary approaching from the west up to 61 degrees. But a very nice weekend. Get out there and enjoy. Don't forget to like me on Facebook, Media Mark. Also, Weather Northeastern, Hurricane Northeastern. Also, at Susquehanna Weather for my localized weather in Northeast Pennsylvania and the southern tier of New York. And don't forget, MediaMark.com, WeatherNortheastern.com, Twitter at Weather Eastern. Don't forget, question or comment down below. Let's keep our weather conversation going, as well as smash the like button, share the video, and subscribe.